The child's scream tore through the penthouse like a knife through silk. "Please, Zara, please stop crying," Nadia whispered desperately, bouncing her 11-month-old daughter against her hip. Sweat slicked down her spine as she tried to soothe the wailing infant. "Mama's gotta work, baby girl, please." But Zara only screamed louder, her tiny fists clenched, her face scrunched up and purple with fury. The other housekeepers in the marble corridor froze, their eyes wide with terror, before they quickly looked away, suddenly fascinated by their mops and dust cloths. "You need to control that child." Mrs. Park's voice was sharp, her eyes darting toward the massive oak doors at the end of the hallway. "If he hears, I know. Nadia's heart slammed against her ribs so hard she thought it might crack through bone. She'd only been working in this Seoul mansion for 3 weeks. 3 weeks of scrubbing floors in one of South Korea's most dangerous households. 3 weeks of keeping her head down and her mouth shut. 3 weeks of pretending she didn't know exactly who Min Jae Kang was. "The nanny called in sick this morning," Nadia explained, her voice shaking like leaves in a storm. "I had nobody to watch her. I thought I could keep her quiet. I thought wrong." Mrs. Park's face had gone pale. "Do you have any idea what kind of man—" The oak doors exploded open. Every person in that hallway stopped breathing. Min Jae Kang stood in the doorway, like death itself had put on a tailored suit. 6 feet of controlled violence, wrapped in black Armani. His jaw was clenched so tight Nadia could see the muscle jumping beneath his skin. His eyes, cold, dark, absolutely merciless, swept across the frozen staff members like a blade looking for something soft to cut. "Who," he said quietly, terrifyingly quietly, "is making that noise?" His voice was softer than a whisper, deadlier than a scream. Nadia's blood turned to ice water in her veins. Zara continued to scream, oblivious to the danger, her little body shaking with the force of her cries. I asked a question. Minji took 1 step forward. Just 1. But the temperature in the hallway dropped 20 degrees. It's mine, sir." Nadia forced the words out through a throat that felt like it was closing. "My daughter. I'm so sorry, the nanny. Bring her here." Nadia's knees nearly buckled. "Sir, I don't repeat myself." Every survival instinct Nadia possessed screamed at her to run, to grab Zara and sprint out of this mansion and never look back. But her feet moved forward instead, carrying her and her screaming baby toward the most feared man in Seoul's criminal underworld. The other staff members scattered like cockroaches when light hits them, disappearing into doorways and around corners. Nadia stopped 3 feet away from Min Jae, her arms wrapped protectively around Zara. Up close, she could see the scar running along his left cheekbone, thin and white and deadly. Could see the absolute absence of warmth in his expression, like looking into the eyes of a beautiful statue carved from ice. "I'm sorry," she said again, hating how her voice trembled. "I'll leave right now. How old?" Nadia blinked. "What?" "The child. How old is she?" 11 months, sir." Min Jae's eyes dropped to Zara, who was still crying, her face buried against Nadia's shoulder, her little body heaving with each sob. For a long moment, he just stared. His expression didn't change, didn't soften, didn't flicker with anything remotely human. Then he did something that made Nadia's entire world tilt sideways. He reached out his hand. "Don't!" The word burst from Nadia before she could stop it. She immediately took a step back, clutching Zara tighter. I'm sorry, sir, but she doesn't like strangers. She doesn't let anyone hold her, not even my mother. She just screams louder if—" Min Jae's hand remained extended, patient, waiting. "Please," Nadia tried again, her heart hammering so hard she could hear it in her ears. "She'll just—" Zara's head popped up from Nadia's shoulder. The crying stopped. Just stopped. Nadia felt her daughter's body shift. Felt those tiny hands reaching out, grabbing toward Minjae like he was a lifeline, instead of a man who'd allegedly killed 19 people with his bare hands. No, baby, no. Nadia tried to hold on, but Zara was squirming now, lunging toward this stranger with an urgency that made absolutely no sense. Let her go, Minjae said quietly. Sir, I don't think... Let her go. Nadia's arms loosened, despite every instinct screaming otherwise, and Zara, her baby girl who screamed when her own grandmother tried to hold her, who couldn't even tolerate the pediatrician touching her without a complete meltdown, practically threw herself into Minjae Kang's arms. The silence that followed was deafening. Minjae stood there, this man who commanded an empire built on fear and blood, with an 11-month-old baby girl clinging to his neck. Zara's tiny fists gripped his expensive suit jacket. Her cheek pressed against his shoulder. Her body relaxed completely, utterly, impossibly trusting. And Minjae's expression cracked, just for a second. Just long enough for Nadia to see something that looked almost like shock flash across his face before the mask slammed back down. She's calm, he observed, his voice oddly neutral. Nadia couldn't speak, couldn't process what she was seeing. Her brain simply refused to accept it. If you're as shocked as Nadia right now, drop a comment below. What do you think is happening here? Nadia swallowed hard. Yes, sir. I don't understand. She never... What's her name? Zara. Minjae adjusted his hold on the baby slightly, supporting her more securely. Zara made a small, contented sound and closed her eyes. She was falling asleep, in a Mafia boss's arms, in under 30 seconds. Sir? Mrs. Park's voice cracked from somewhere down the hallway. Your meeting? The Yakuza representatives are waiting. Reschedule it. Sir, I said reschedule it. Minjae's voice cut like a blade, but he didn't raise it. Didn't disturb the sleeping child in his arms. His eyes found Nadia's. You, what's your name? Nadia, sir. Nadia Brooks. American? Yes, sir. I moved here 20 months ago. I was studying at Yonsei University before. She stopped herself. He didn't need her life story. Minjae studied her for a long moment. Nadia forced herself to hold his gaze, even though every cell in her body wanted to look away. The father? He asked. Nadia's jaw tightened. Not in the picture. By choice? His choice. Does it matter? The corner of Minjae's mouth twitched, almost a smile. Not quite. You have a spine. Interesting. He looked down at Zara again, something unreadable flickering across his face. The baby slept on, completely peaceful, completely safe in the arms of Seoul's most dangerous man. Follow me, Minjae said, turning back toward his office. Sir, that wasn't a request. Nadia's feet moved automatically, following him through those oak doors into an office that probably cost more than she'd make in 10 lifetimes. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked Seoul's glittering skyline, mahogany furniture polished to a mirror shine, original artwork on the walls, and in the corner, something that made Nadia's breath catch, a bulletproof glass case containing at least 15 handguns. Sit, Minjae commanded, gesturing to a leather chair that probably cost more than her entire apartment. Nadia sat. She watched, completely bewildered, as this man, this dangerous, cold-blooded man, carefully, almost tenderly, shifted Zara in his arms to sit down behind his massive desk without waking her. Explain to me, he said quietly, why you thought bringing an infant into my home was acceptable. My nanny had a family emergency, Nadia said, fighting to keep her voice steady. I called everyone I know, everyone. Nobody could watch her on such short notice. And I needed this job, sir. I'm 4 months behind on rent. The landlord's threatening to evict us. I thought if I could just keep her quiet. You thought you could hide a baby in my mansion. Yes, sir. Foolish. Yes, sir. And desperate. Nadia lifted her chin. Very. Minja's eyes narrowed slightly, but again, the ghost of something that might have been amusement crossed his face. You're not afraid of me. I'm terrified of you, Nadia corrected, but I'm more afraid of being homeless with a baby. Honesty, also interesting. He glanced down at Zara, whose little fist had wrapped around his tie. She's trusting. She's never trusted anyone before, Nadia admitted. Not like this. I don't understand it. Neither do I. They sat in strange silence for a moment. Nadia watched this feared mafia boss cradling her daughter like she was made of glass. Watched him unconsciously adjust his hold when Zara shifted slightly. Watched something in his expression soften in a way she suspected very few people ever witnessed. Smash that like button if you need to know what happens next. Sir, Nadia ventured carefully. May I have her back? I should... No? Nadia froze. No? She's calm. Why would I disturb that? Minjae leaned back in his chair, seemingly completely unbothered by the fact that he was holding a sleeping infant during what should have been a business meeting. Tell me about yourself. Sir, your story. Why are you in soul cleaning houses when you were studying at one of the country's top universities? Nadia hesitated. This felt like a trap. Everything about this situation felt like a trap. But those dark eyes demanded an answer. I got pregnant, she said simply. My boyfriend, Zara's father, didn't take it well. Told me to get rid of it or he'd get rid of me. I refused. He left, cut me off completely. My scholarship covered tuition, but not living expenses, especially not with a baby. I had to drop out. Started cleaning houses because it was the only work I could get without a degree and with flexible hours. The father, American military, he was stationed here temporarily. Nadia's voice hardened. He went back to the States 4 months before Zara was born. Changed his number, blocked me on everything. His name? Why? His name? Minjae repeated, and this time there was something sharp in his voice, something dangerous. Nadia shook her head. I don't want him dead, sir. I just want him gone. Those aren't mutually exclusive. They are to me. Minjae stared at her for a long moment. Then, inexplicably, he smiled. Actually smiled. It transformed his entire face, made him look almost human instead of like a beautiful monster carved from marble and malice. You're protecting a man who abandoned you and your child, he said. Why? Because Zara doesn't need a dead father. She needs a mother who isn't a murderer. The smile faded. I see. May I have my daughter back now, sir? I'll leave. I understand you'll need to fire me. You're not fired. Nadia blinked. I'm not? No. Minjae stood up carefully, still cradling Zara. He walked around the desk and, with infinite care, transferred the sleeping baby back into Nadia's arms. Zara stirred slightly, but didn't wake. In fact, he continued, your circumstances are about to change significantly. I don't understand. You will. Minjae returned to his desk and pressed a button on his phone. Dae-jung, come to my office. Within seconds, the door opened. A man entered, tall, lean, with sharp features and eyes that missed nothing. He took one look at Nadia holding a baby, and his eyebrows shot up. Boss? This is Nadia Brooks and her daughter Zara, Minjae said. Effective immediately, Nadia is no longer part of the cleaning staff. Nadia's stomach dropped. Sir, she's my new personal assistant. The room went silent. Dae-jung's jaw actually dropped. You're what? You heard me. Minjae's voice was calm, matter-of-fact, as if he hadn't just said something absolutely insane. Nadia needs employment that accommodates her daughter. I need someone who isn't afraid to speak honestly to me. It's an efficient arrangement. Boss, with all due respect, Dae-jung started. Is there a problem? The temperature in the room plummeted again. Dae-jung immediately shut his mouth and shook his head. No, sir, no problem. Good. Minjae's eyes found Nadia's. Your salary will be 8 million won per month. The apartment above the east garage is vacant. You and Zara will move in tomorrow. Childcare will be provided on site. You'll work standard business hours. Your responsibilities will include managing my schedule, screening communications, and attending meetings as needed. Nadia couldn't breathe. 8 million won. That was over $6,000 per month. Sir, I can't. You can and you will. Something flickered in his expression. Consider it payment for something your daughter has reminded me of. What's that? Minjae looked at Zara, still sleeping peacefully in Nadia's arms. When he spoke again, his voice was barely above a whisper. That not everyone sees a monster when they look at me. Stay tuned for what happens next. Subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this incredible story. Nadia didn't sleep that night. How could she? 24 hours ago, she was scrubbing toilets and dodging eviction notices. Now, she was sitting in a luxury apartment with marble countertops and a view of the Han River, watching Zara sleep in a brand new crib that probably cost more than Nadia's entire life savings. This is crazy, she whispered to herself. This is absolutely crazy. Her phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Be ready at 8 a.m. Dae-young will brief you on your duties. Dress professionally. MJK Min Jae-kang had her number. The Mafia boss had her personal phone number. Nadia's hands shook as she typed back. Yes, sir. 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. The baby. She slept well? Nadia stared at her phone like it had grown a second screen. Was Seoul's most feared crime lord really asking about her daughter's sleep schedule? Yes, sir. She's been out for 4 hours. That's a record. Good. That was it. Just good. But something about that single word made Nadia's chest feel strange. Drop a comment if you think something deeper is going on here. The next morning came too fast. Nadia, dressed in the only professional outfit she owned, a simple black dress she'd bought secondhand for university presentations. She did her makeup carefully, twisted her hair into a neat bun, and tried to look like someone who belonged in a mafia boss's inner circle. She failed spectacularly. You look terrified, Dae-jung observed when he arrived at exactly 8 a.m. He handed her a tablet and a sleek black phone. That's normal. Everyone's terrified of him at first. At first? Nadia adjusted Zara on her hip. When does that stop? It doesn't. You just get better at hiding it. Dae-jung's expression softened slightly when he looked at Zara. The boss arranged for a nanny. She'll be here in 10 minutes. Former intelligence officer, trained in child safety and security. Your daughter will be safer than the president's kids. Why is he doing this? Nadia asked quietly. None of this makes sense. Dae-jung studied her for a long moment. The boss doesn't explain himself, but I've worked for him for 9 years, and I've never seen him react to anyone the way he reacted to your daughter yesterday. Whatever she did, whatever he saw in her, he shook his head. It changed something. Before Nadia could respond, the doorbell rang. The nanny was a woman in her 50s with kind eyes and the posture of someone who could probably kill you with a chopstick. Her name was Miss Choi, and within 5 minutes, Zara was giggling in her arms like they'd known each other forever. She's precious, Miss Choi said warmly. We'll have a wonderful day together. Don't worry about a thing. Nadia's throat tightened. She doesn't usually. I know. Dae-jung briefed me. Miss Choi smiled. But children sense energy. And right now, your baby feels safe here. That's all that matters. Safe in a mafia compound. The irony wasn't lost on Nadia. Min-jae's office was exactly as she remembered. Intimidating, expensive, and somehow cold, despite the morning sunlight streaming through the windows. He stood by those windows now, phone pressed to his ear, speaking rapid Korean in a voice that could freeze hell itself. He looked up when she entered, held up one finger. Wait. Nadia waited. If those shipments aren't in Busan by Friday, Min-jae said into the phone, his voice dropping to something deadly. I'll personally ensure you spend the rest of your very short life regretting it. Are we clear? A pause. Excellent. He ended the call and turned to face her fully. His eyes traveled over her appearance once, quickly, professionally. You look nervous. I am nervous, sir. Don't be. You're here because your daughter has better judgment than most adults I know. He moved to his desk and gestured for her to sit. Today, you observe, watch everything, ask questions, learn how I work. Yes, sir. And Nadia? Sir? Stop calling me sir every sentence. Minjae is fine when we're alone. Her eyes widened. I don't care what you think. I care what I tell you to do. But there was no heat in his voice, almost like he was testing her. Say it. Say what? My name. Nadia's heart hammered. This felt dangerous, intimate in a way that made her skin prickle. Minjae, she forced out. His expression didn't change, but something flashed in his eyes. Satisfaction, maybe? Better. He pulled up his calendar on the computer. Now, we have 4 meetings today. 2 with legitimate business partners. 2 with people who would kill me if they thought they could get away with it. Your job is to take notes and watch body language. Tell me afterward what you noticed. You want me to analyze people? Your daughter saw something in me that no one else sees. I'm curious if you inherited that same instinct. Hit that subscribe button because this story is about to get intense. The first meeting was with a tech CEO who kept glancing at Nadia like she was a bomb that might explode. Minjae negotiated a partnership deal worth billions of won without raising his voice once. He was smooth, calculated, terrifying in his precision. The second meeting was with an older man covered in tattoos. Yakuza, Nadia realized with ice in her veins. They spoke in a mixture of Korean and Japanese. Minjae's entire demeanor changed, harder, colder, more dangerous. When the man left, Minjae turned to her. What did you notice? Nadia hesitated. The tech CEO was afraid of you, but the Yakuza boss respected you. There's a difference. Go on. The CEO kept looking at me because he was trying to figure out our relationship. If I'm someone important to you, he'll try to use that. The Yakuza boss never looked at me once. He already knew I was irrelevant to the negotiation. Minjae's lips curved. Not bad. What else? The tech CEO is going to try to renegotiate in 3 months. He agreed too easily. And the Yakuza boss is planning something. He kept touching his ring, a nervous tell. Minjae leaned back in his chair, studying her with new interest. You're observant. I'm a single mother. You learn to read people when your survival depends on it. Indeed. He stood up. We're done for the day. Go check on Sarah. Nadia blinked. It's only 2 p.m. And you've done more than I expected. Go be with your daughter. She didn't need to be told twice. But as she reached the door, his voice stopped her. Nadia. She turned. Minjae stood by the window again, backlit by the afternoon sun. For a moment, he looked almost lonely. Thank you, he said quietly. For what? For not running. Most people would have. Nadia thought about that for a moment. Then she smiled, small but genuine. Most people don't have a baby who apparently thinks you're some kind of teddy bear. His laugh was unexpected, brief but real. Get out of here before I assign you more work. The weeks that followed fell into a strange rhythm. Nadia learned the business, both the legitimate side and the parts that existed in shadows. She sat in meetings with gang leaders and corporate executives. She watched Minjae command rooms with nothing but his presence. And every evening, without fail, he stopped by the apartment to see Zara. She's growing, he observed one night, crouching down as Zara toddled toward him on unsteady legs. She grabbed his finger, laughing. She's walking, Nadia exclaimed. Minjae, I see. His voice was soft, reverent almost. He scooped Zara up and she immediately patted his face with her tiny hands. Look at you, getting so strong. Nadia's heart did something complicated in her chest. "You're good with her," she said quietly. "I had a sister once. She was small like this." His jaw tightened. "A long time ago." "What happened?" "She died. I couldn't protect her." The words hung in the air like smoke. "I'm sorry," Nadia whispered. "Don't be. It made me what I am." He looked at Zara, something raw and painful crossing his face. "But your daughter, she doesn't see what I am. She just sees me." "Maybe that's because she knows who you actually are." Minjae's eyes met hers. "And who is that?" "I'm still figuring that out." Comment below. Do you think there's something romantic brewing here? Everything changed on a Tuesday. Nadia was reviewing contracts in Minjae's office when Daijung burst through the door, gun already drawn. "Boss, we have a problem. Lee's crew just..." The window exploded. Glass rained down like deadly snow. Nadia screamed as Minjae dove across the desk, slamming into her, dragging her to the floor. His body covered hers completely as bullets tore through the office. "Stay down," he roared. More gunfire, shouting, the sound of cars screeching outside. Minjae was on his phone instantly. "Huang, secure the baby, now." He looked down at Nadia, his face inches from hers. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head, too shocked to speak. "Good." He rolled off her, a gun appearing in his hand like magic. "Daejong, perimeter." 3 vehicles, Lee's men. They're not leaving until... Another explosion, closer this time. "They're coming inside," Minjae said. Calmly, too calmly. He grabbed Nadia's face, forcing her to look at him. "Listen to me very carefully. You're going to crawl to that door. You're going to run to your apartment. You're going to lock yourself and Sarah in the panic room. The code is 417. Do you understand?" "What about you?" "I'll handle this. Now move." "Minjae." "Move." Nadia crawled. Glass cut her palms, her knees. She didn't care. She just needed to get to Zara. Behind her, she heard Minjae's voice drop into something that wasn't quite human. "You just made the last mistake of your lives." Then gunfire erupted like thunder. Nadia ran faster than she'd ever run in her life. Burst into the apartment where Miss Choi already had Zara in her arms, both of them heading for the reinforced back room. "Inside," Miss Choi commanded. The panic room was small but secure. Steel walls, no windows. Miss Choi punched in a code and the door sealed with a heavy thunk. Zara was crying. Nadia grabbed her, holding her tight, rocking her. "It's okay, baby. It's okay. Mama's here." But outside, the gunfire continued. Screaming, explosions. And Nadia realized with absolute certainty that if Minjae died tonight, something inside her would break. "Please," she whispered into Zara's hair. "Please let him be okay." 20 minutes felt like 20 hours. When the door finally opened, Nadia nearly collapsed with relief. Minjae stood there, covered in blood. Some his, mostly not. His suit was torn, his face was cut, but he was alive. "You're safe," he said. Not a question, a statement that needed confirmation. "We're fine. Are you?" He crossed the space between them in 2 strides and pulled both her and Zara into his arms. Just held them, shaking slightly. "I'm sorry." He breathed into her hair. "I'm so sorry. This is my world, my danger. You shouldn't." "Stop." Nadia pulled back just enough to look at him. "We're okay. You protected us." "I put you in danger." "No, Lee did. And I'm guessing Lee's not a problem anymore." Minjae's expression went dark. "He's not." Zara reached out, touching the cut on Minjae's cheek. Her little face scrunched up with concern. "Owie," she said clearly. Her first word. Minjae froze. "She," Nadia gasped. "Her first word." "Owie," Zara repeated, patting his face gently. "Owie." Something in Minjae's expression crumbled. He pulled Zara close, closing his eyes. "I'm okay, little one, I'm okay." And watching them, this dangerous man and her innocent daughter, Nadia finally understood. Zara hadn't seen a monster. She'd seen someone who needed saving just as much as they did. Minjay, Nadia said softly. He looked at her, really looked at her. Stay, he said. Not a command, a plea. Both of you, stay with me. Let me protect you. Let me, his voice cracked. Let me be something other than a monster. Nadia reached out, took his bloodied hand in hers. You already are. Zara giggled and patted both their faces. Oui, all better. And somehow, impossibly, it was. 6 months later. She's running, Nadia called out, chasing Zara through the mansion's garden. The toddler shrieked with laughter, her pigtails bouncing as she ran straight toward. I've got her! Minjay swept Zara into his arms, spinning her around as she giggled uncontrollably. He'd traded his suit for jeans and a casual shirt. The scars on his face had faded, but never fully disappeared. Neither had the darkness in his world. But Zara, stubborn, beautiful Zara, had brought light into it anyway. You're spoiling her, Nadia said, but she was smiling. That's my job, Minjay replied, pressing a kiss to Zara's forehead before turning those dark eyes on Nadia. Spoiling both of you is my job. Is that in my official job description? I'll add it. He kissed her then, soft and sweet, while Zara clapped her hands between them. More, Zara demanded. More kisses. They laughed. And for a moment, the world wasn't dangerous or dark or complicated. It was just them. A broken man who found redemption in an infant's trust. A desperate woman who found safety in the arms of danger. And a baby who never saw monsters. Only the man inside. So, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Was this the love story you were expecting? Like this video if you want to see more stories like this. And subscribe because we've got even more incredible content coming your way. Until next time, remember, sometimes the most unexpected bonds are the ones that save us.